Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome again, my dear student, with the chapter 2, Philosophical Foundations of Curriculum. The content of this chapter, Philosophy and Curriculum, Philosophical Foundations, and we'll discuss also Islamic philosophy, classical philosophy, and the progressive one. We have also major philosophies for major philosophies and effective methods to enhance learning, in addition to a comparison between traditional and contemporary education philosophies. Introduction about philosophy. Let's start with this introduction. What does it mean? Philosophy literally means حرفيا تعني love of wisdom, wise man, from wise. As you know, this proverb, a word to a wise man is enough. إن اللبيب بالإشارة يفهمه. Love of wisdom. So this is philosophy. Philosophy is the study of fundamental questions about. هي دراسة الأسئلة الأساسية عن life and existence, الحياة والوجود, what is real, why are we here, knowledge, what can we know, how do we know it, values, what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, mind and reason, how do we think, what's the truth. It tries to answer big, deep questions about humans, the world, and reality. If you look at philosophy from Islamic perspective and in an Islamic context, we'll see that philosophy, we call it in Arabic falsafa, is often linked with reasoning, reflection, and wisdom. And as you know, in our Holy Quran, we have a lot of verses that encourage thinking. Do they not reflect this verse, or this part of the verse means أفلا يتدبرون أفلا يعقلون أفلا يتفكرون, all of them the same meaning. Do they not reflect? Muslim scholars like Al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, Al-Ghazali, Ibn Rushd engaged in philosophy to understand existence, knowledge, and ethics alongside revelation. Simply speaking, philosophy is the love of wisdom, a way of thinking deeply about life, knowledge, values, and reality to guide how we live and learn. It is crucial for nearly all decisions regarding teaching and learning. Philosophical foundations of curriculum. When we speak about the philosophical foundations of curriculum, we mean the set of beliefs, values, and principles that guide decisions about what? What should be taught, why it should be taught, and how it should be taught. Philosophy provides the why behind curriculum. It answers the purpose of education and the kind of learner and society we aim to develop. So when we link philosophy and philosophical foundations of curriculum, we have to answer this question. Even if you go to your class, even if you want to teach in a lesson or unit or chapter, we have to think, what's the purpose? Why? What's the hidden message behind this unit or chapter? Okay, now philosophy and curriculum. If we want to design a curriculum or teach a curriculum, philosophy is the beginning point in curriculum decision making and the basis for the subsequent decision regarding curriculum. Philosophy provides educators, especially curriculum workers, with a framework or frameworks for organizing schools and classrooms. It helps them determine what schools are for, what subjects have value, and how students learn, why and what. All these questions resides تكمن in our philosophy and teaching. Okay, now curriculum worker, they are human beings, yes. So here just we are going to shed light about philosophy and curriculum worker. Our philosophy reflects our background and experience. Our decisions are based on our worldview, attitudes, and beliefs. Philosophy guides action. To speak frankly, all of us, and no one can be totally objective when it comes to education or to any important issue in our life. We must be objective. We must be fair. يجب أن نكون موضوعيين وفي عدل في قراراتنا. But curriculum workers can broaden their knowledge and understanding by considering problems from various perspectives. At the same time, curriculum workers who lack a coherent philosophy can easily lack clarity and direction. If they are not well organized and clear, in this case, they will face a challenge. They should base their conclusions on the best evidence available, and they cannot change when better evidence surfaces. They have to change if they observe anything irrelevant. So this is here the relation between philosophy and curriculum workers. So curriculum workers should be objective. Okay, now here in this slide actually, we have to know more about our Islamic history. Some of the most famous Muslim scholars in philosophy in falsafa, especially during the Islamic Golden Age, خاصة في العصور الذهبية اللي كانت عندنا 8th to 12th centuries include. Here we have some names around 5-6 to know more about them, and as you know there is a question and assignment too for you to write about some famous Muslim scholars in philosophy, and I sent you the question by the way. Number one, Al-Kindi, known as the philosopher of the Arabs. He introduced Greek philosophy, especially Aristotle and Plato, Plato, into the Islamic world and emphasized harmonizing philosophy with Islamic thought. Number two, Al-Farabi, called the second teacher after Aristotle, well known overseas. He wrote a logic, metaphysics, ethics, and political philosophy. His work influenced both Islamic and medieval European philosophy. Number three, Ibn Sina or Avicenna, one of the most influential philosophers and physicians in history, طبيب. His book of healing and Canon of Medicine shaped both philosophy and science for centuries, developed a comprehensive system combining Aristotelian and the Neoplatonic ideas. Aristotelian from Aristotle and Neoplatonic from Plato. Ideas, الأفكار الأفلاطونية والأرسطية, with Islamic thoughts. Al-Ghazali, his most famous and influential book, which combines ethics, Sufism, and spiritual education, Ihya Ulum al-Din, the revival of the religious sciences, well-known book, Ihya Ulum al-Din. In his famous book, also another book, Tahafut al-Falasifa, the incoherence of the philosophers. He criticized philosophers like Ibn Sina and Al-Farabi for straying from Islamic creed. He integrated philosophy, theology, and Sufism. Number five, Ibn Rushd, famous for his commentaries on Aristotle, defended philosophy against Al-Ghazali's critics in Tahafut al-Falasifa or Tahafut al-Tahafut, the incoherence of the incoherence. It greatly influenced European scholastic, especially Thomas Aquinas. And the last one here, Ibn Khaldun, though more famous as a historian and sociologist. His Muqaddimah, Introduction to History, Muqaddimat Ibn Khaldun, well known, contains deep philosophical reflections on society, knowledge, and civilization. Actually, we as Muslims, we have to know more about our history, especially those well-known scholars in philosophy and falsafa. Okay, now Islamic philosophy, the curriculum include the comprehensive concept which represents all the domain of learner personality, organizing the experience regarding the Islamic view of learner, organizing the curriculum by using the integrative approach, الطرق اللي بتكون فيها integration, تداخل, blend among approaches, the variety of teaching methods, using suitable instructional media, teacher role in the light of Islamic philosophy, using all the available resources to achieve the goals of Islamic education, and also the variety of using evaluation tools. There is a relation between school and local society. This is about Islamic philosophy. We have a classical philosophy and modern or progressive philosophy. And from the name, it's very clear that classical philosophy, old-fashioned, as you see here, concentrate on the knowledge and information, neglecting the activity, neglecting role of teacher is central. Yes, this is the old way of teaching. All of them the same, go to the same point. And the progressive, the learner is the core of education. To a large extent, the opposite, yes. If you look and read the items here and the points, you will see there is a big difference, a huge gap between progressive philosophy and traditional one. Okay, now here we have major philosophies. In your book, actually, the book focuses on philosophies and major philosophies in USA education system. And we have 4 major philosophies. The first one about USA, the second one in general. Let's have a look at the first one. 4 major philosophies have influenced US education: idealism, realism, pragmatism, existentialism. The first 2 philosophies are traditional, the last 2 are contemporary, يعني معاصرة وحديثة. Now for those terms, my students, all those terms, you as a future teacher in education, you have to know more about these idioms, about these terms: idealism, realism, pragmatism. But all of them in Arabic the same. Yes, existentialism, الوجودية، البراغماتية، لما أقول لك أنت إنسان براغماتي، أو رياليزم الواقعية، في عنا الإيدياليزم المثالية. Let's have only one slide about each, just to know brief about them. Idealism, traditional. Plato is often credited with formulating هو اللي شكل idealist philosophy, one of the oldest that exists. هي الأقدم طبعا. Reality is based on ideas, mind and spirit. Education emphasizes moral and intellectual development, classics and universal truths. Teacher equals model of wisdom and virtue, ونموذج الحكمة والفضيلة, teacher. Idealists emphasize studying ideas, values, and enduring truths, so they prefer subjects like literature, philosophy, history, and humanities in general. Now for realism, Aristotle here is often linked to the development of realism, another traditional school of thought. Reality exists independent of the mind. تعطيك استقلالية، توجد استقلالية في العقل، في knowledge, comes through reason and sense. Focus on science, mathematics, and observer facts because it focuses on reason and senses. تركز على دائما السبب والمبرر والحواس. Teacher equals authority who transmits knowledge. هو السلطة أو القوة اللي بتنقل المعرفة للطلاب. Realists emphasize the real world and observable facts, so they focus on subjects like science, mathematics, geography, and zoology. Okay, now pragmatism. As we mentioned previously, 2 old traditional, and 3 and 4 pragmatism, and number 4 existentialism contemporary. It was developed in the late 19th century by some American philosophers like John Dewey. أكيد سمعت John Dewey, he's well known. Pragmatism is a philosophy of action and also referred to as experimentalism من التجارب تجارب الحياة that is based on a change process and relativity. It judges ideas and beliefs by their practical consequences. For pragmatism, or for pragmatists, knowledge is always evolving because reality itself is constantly changing. وإذا الحياة بتضلها تتغير أكيد بدنا نتطور معها. For this reason, in education, John Dewey applied pragmatism to schooling. He argued that education should prepare students for real-life problem solving, not just memorizing facts. Learning by doing. بدك تتعلم افعل. And democracy in education, for example, like students share responsibility and make choices. لما يشاركوا هنا في students clubs and councils كيف الطلاب بيشاركوا المسؤولية بيختاروا. This term from exist من الوجود الوجودية existentialism. It's mainly a European philosophy that originated earlier but became popular after World War II. Focuses on individual choices, freedom, and personal meaning. Now the opposite of pragmatism. Existentialists advocate that students be free. They have the right to be free and to choose how and what they study. Now some critics argue that such a free choice would be too unsystematic and laissez-faire, especially at the elementary school level. For kids at schools or preschool, they cannot choose. They're still so young. Yes, they cannot select what to study and how to study. But for a tertiary level, okay. Education should help students discover themselves, make choices, and take responsibility. Teacher, facilitator who respects uniqueness. Now, major philosophies. There are 4 major philosophies in education. This is in general. The previous 4 only in USA. Number 1, perennialism, essentialism, progressivism, reconstructionism, reconstruction, إعادة البناء. Okay, let's have a look at number 1, perennialism. Aims of education here to educate the rational person. When I say rational person, الشخص اللي عنده منطق, who thinks critically, بفكر تفكير ناقد, seeks truth, live ethically, بعيش بأخلاقية, and uses reason to guide decisions. In a decision, he depends or she depends on the reason, الأسباب. Knowledge focus on past and permanent studies, mastery of facts, and timeless knowledge. Role of education, teacher help students think rationally, critically, based on Socratic method, oral exposition, explicit teaching of traditional values. Curriculum here focus on classical subjects, literary analysis, constant curriculum. Related curriculum trends, great books, paideia proposals, returning to the liberal arts from the, I mean, big and great books. Essentialism here aims of education to promote the intellectual growth of the individual, to educate the competent person. Knowledge essential skills and academic subjects, mastery of concepts and principles of subjects matter. The role of education, teacher is authority in particular subject area. He is the master of his area, explicit teaching of traditional values. Curriculum focus on essential skills and essential subjects, English, science, history, math, and foreign languages. They focus on what you need, related curriculum trends, back to basics, cultural literacy, excellence in education. Okay, now number three, progressive aim of education to promote democratic social living. Knowledge leading to growth and development, a living learning process focus on active and relevant learning. Role of education, teacher is guide for problem solving and scientific inquiry. Now, focus on curriculum based on students' interests, addresses human problems and affairs, interdisciplinary subject matter, activities, and projects. If you look here, all of them, the focus is on what interest for the students, relevant curriculum, humanistic education, radical school reform. Now, reconstructionism, from construction, reconstruction, إعادة البناء, to improve the reconstruct society, يحسن يبني المجتمع تاني, to educate for change and social reform. دي من عملية إصلاح في المجتمع. Skills and subjects needed to identify and ameliorate society's problems. Active learning concerned with contemporary and future society. Here, the role of education, teacher serves as an agent of change and reform, acts as a project director and research leader, helps students become aware of problems confronting humankind. Emphasis actually on social sciences and social research methods, examination of social, economic, and political problems, focus on present and future trends as well as on national and international issues. Related curriculum trends, international education, conceptualism, equality of education opportunities. Now here we have four major philosophies. This is in general. And before these four, only four, yes, they are major, but in USA. Effective method to enhance learning. Here we have some guidelines can help teacher and curriculum workers provide leadership within a progressive and the humanistic approaches. Most actually of these points important for you and general guidelines for effective methods to enhance learning. And at the end, there is a comparison between the two with old-fashioned, traditional philosophy like perennialism and essentialism, and comparative philosophy, progressivism and reconstructionism. Here we have society and education. There is here a comparison between them. For example, I'll shed light only on number one. Formal education begins with the school, but here begins with the family. This is the modern one, the contemporary philosophy. Yeah. Before that, this is the duty and responsibility of the school to take care of our kids. But really, no, it starts from the family. School after that can modify, can give the kids and the students more attention and how to create a good generation capable of facing the challenges they face in their life. Knowledge and learning, this is the comparison here, society and education, knowledge and learning, instruction, وضوء التعليم, and purpose and programs, both of them. And till here, we'll stop slides for chapter 2, hoping to see you again in, inshallah, the next chapter. Thank you and goodbye. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.